All right. We haven't done one of these in a while, at least not for an event that was actually going to happen. We did one for the Season 11 finals that got canceled because of COVID, which is when I said that Fnatic would be G2 and I got roasted for it the whole weekend. It was great. I had a lot of fun making that, but now it's time we get serious again. The 6th August Major starts on Tuesday, beginning with a week's worth of Asia-Pacific competition. If you don't already know what the schedule is, Tuesday is the APAC North quarterfinals, Wednesday is the APAC North semis, Thursday is the Oceania preliminary final and the South Asia semifinals, then Friday's the South Asia Grand Final, Saturday's the Oceania Grand Final, and Sunday is the APAC North Grand Final. And all three of those Grand Final matches are best of fives, and Latin America also starts on Friday, so we're getting another full-blown siege overload, and honestly, I think I'm ready for it. All these games will be getting mainstream coverage over the course of this week, and even though we can't hold a major event because of the Rona, I'm like 99.98% sure we're getting a look at that new Paris studio, if Milosh's Twitter is to be believed.
Why is everybody in France? Post your best theories in the comments.
And remember, as bad as I am at predictions, I can't be any worse than EG choking the Milan finals, right? Oh, I'm sorry, was that too soon? Let's begin with the sub-region I think most people here are still familiar with, Oceania, or in this case, just ANZ. Wildcard Gaming, Okami, and the Pittsburgh Knights got here as the top 3 teams from the Six Masters tournament that wrapped up in July. I wish I knew why it was 3 teams and not 4, because this bracket is literally just a repeat of the end of that tournament. Okami and the Knights play in the preliminary game, and the winner of that match faces wildcard last because they won the Masters beforehand. The nice part about having a 2-match bracket is it's honestly really easy to see how this can transpire, and in the case of Okami versus the Knights, I'm pretty darn sure Okami takes this one. They have a regular season record over the Knights of 2-0 in the Six Masters regular season. The Knights didn't have a winning record when they went into the playoffs, and when they met with Okami again, they got beat 2-0 yet again. So it's a 4-0 undefeated spread for Okami against Pittsburgh, and I'm pretty sure that that's their match to lose. But as easy as that match is for them to win, I'm pretty sure it's the same thing against Wildcard, but in reverse. Wildcard beat Okami 2-0 over the course of the Masters regular season. They went 13 wins and 1 loss overall, and they didn't lose a single map in the playoffs on their way to a 6 Masters championship. So as far as I'm concerned, Okami beats the Knights and then just gets decimated by Wildcard. I think Wildcard does emerge as your champions of the Oceania 6 Major, if you can call it a major. Let's do South Asia next, and then we can get to the big boys. This one is a lot harder to do because we don't have detailed stats on these guys. If you're curious about South Asian Siege, I did a video a couple of days ago going over what that region has had to do over the past few years to even get any major representation. You can check it out over here. For the major, Mercenaries, Union Gaming, Kira Esports, and Monka S, I'm still caught up on that name, I'm sorry. They've all qualified by way of the South Asian Nationals, which was an 8-team double elimination tournament taking place a couple weeks ago, which Mercenaries ultimately won. And because finding VODs for these matches is ridiculously difficult, like insidiously so, the only real thing I have to work off here is end match results. I don't really know how these guys play, I'm not sure what their tendencies are, but I'm more than ready to find out this week. Just, we gotta get through this prediction first. First game is Mercenaries versus Monka S. If the guys on Monka S were trying to get through this tournament by memeing their way in, then their path stops pretty quick in my book. Mercenaries beat Monka S 2-0 in the regular season. They won the entire tournament, and Monka S also didn't defeat any team that's in this part of the 6 Major at any point during that South Asian Nationals bracket. So this one's pretty much a shoo-in for Mercenaries in my book. For Kira versus Union, this is a little bit tough because Union actually faced Mercenaries in the grand final of the South Asian Nationals, but during that South Asian Nationals bracket, they faced off against Union twice and won 3 maps compared to where Union won just 2. Even though Union did win their second best of 3, I know this might be a bit of an upset pick, but because I don't know what these guys are capable of, I'm just gonna go with Kira only because they've won more maps against Union than Union has. That sets up the grand final to be Mercenaries versus Kira, and the only thing I have to go off on this is that Mercenaries beat Kira 2-0 at one point, and I just think Mercenaries, if they've won the previous tournament, there's really nothing to suggest that they can't win the next tournament. They've demonstrated the expertise, they've kind of run the bracket on what these teams are capable of, and at the end of the day, I think they can pull it out. But again, I want to watch and see how they do first before I really make any assumptions about how each team can stack up with one another.
Do you have any idea how much it sucks trying to do predictions when you don't know anything about them?
Come on, Mercenaries, please prove me right. Last, but certainly not least, we get to do APAC North. This region's been getting main broadcast streams with the same crew that does the European League, so I hope you're able to catch at least some of their Stage 1. I haven't. because I need sleep. I know I haven't done a full APAC North Stage 1 recap, but this is where everyone sat after the stage was done, so we'll be seeing Giants, Cloud9, Guts, Xavier, Fav, and Cyclops playing in this bracket. There are two things that I'll say about how this stage went, and the first is, it really sucks not seeing Fnatic in there. I hope that when they can actually move to Japan, they can get past their connection issues and place higher than 7th. I don't think that that placement is a representation of how they actually perform. The other thing is that this was run in a Swiss format, which made for some really interesting progression between the first phase and the second one. For example, Fav went from 2nd in phase 1 to 6th in phase 2, which put them at 5th place overall, and Cloud9 placed 4th in both phases, but because of the rest of the fluctuation in APAC North, they ended up in 2nd. When we get to stage 2 in September, it'll be interesting to see if they make any changes to the format, but this does make for a pretty exciting league, all things considered, even if you trying to prepare for an opponent is utterly ruined by it. Both Giants Gaming and Cloud9 get a first round bye and come in during the semifinals, which makes the first quarterfinal game Fav versus Xavier or Japan versus Thailand. Both of these teams have won one game against one another during the course of the regular season, and they virtually traded positions, with Xavier currently being on an upswing. Fav placed in 2nd and Xavier in 7th in phase 1, but phase 2, Xavier was 1st overall and Fav dropped in the standings. Plus, Xavier can technically call themselves Giant Killers because they defeated Giants Gaming, handing them their only loss over the course of stage 1. So because of their strong placement, they've got a lot more momentum, and they have that tag they can apply to themselves. I think this is Xavier's game to win over Fav. Second quarterfinal is Guts versus Cyclops, which is a double Japanese showdown, and they've only ever met once over the course of last stage, and that was a Guts victory. And again, it's a case where in the Swiss format, they're technically still on an upswing. They placed higher than Cyclops did in phase 2, whereas in phase 1, it was the other way around, so they still have some momentum that can carry them through this match. And because they have a previous win against Cyclops, I'm inclined to give them the victory, but this could swing either way because both of them have the same record overall, and this is technically the number 4 seed versus the number 5 seed, so this is supposed to be a closer match. Once the quarterfinals are over with, that's where we introduce our first 2 top-seeded teams, which makes our first semifinal Giants versus Guts. They played each other once in the regular season, and that was a Giants victory by a landslide. They've always looked like the stronger team, and they've also defeated more teams in the upper echelon of APAC North, more so than Guts has, even though Guts placed 3rd overall in stage 1. I also have a lot of confidence in them because they placed in the top 2 for both phases. I think this is Giants' game to win, even if Guts still try to keep it close. The second quarterfinal is Cloud9 versus Xavier, and this one might technically be categorized as an upset, but I'm going with Xavier on this one. I really want to root for C9. I try to do it where I can, but they placed 4th in both stages. They didn't place in 2nd, even though that's the overall position they had at the end of the stage because of the crazy amounts of fluctuation that were going on because of the Swiss format. I don't think 2nd place for them is necessarily that earned, and most of their wins also came against teams you would kind of expect them to beat anyway, with a lack of upset finishes. To me, that's not a demonstration of strength, and I think Xavier is already on enough of a hot streak at this point that they could definitely put the Koreans in the dirt. So that, at the end of the day, makes the grand final Xavier versus Giants Gaming, and I'm really happy that this is the grand final we ended up getting. Please let this be the grand final we end up getting, guys. Come on, don't let me down. Like I said, Xavier was the only team that was capable of handing the Giants a loss at any point during stage 1, and I would be making a bigger deal out of that were it not for the fact that this isn't a best of 1, this is a best of 5, and there's also no winner's advantage for any team because there's no upper bracket. And Xavier is still on an upswing, but I still think the Giants have more wins in the higher quarters, I guess, of APAC North over both stages, and all they really have to do is make sure they don't take Xavier to coastline. That was a 7-1 drubbing by Xavier, so just don't play that map and you're fine. The Giants have been the team to beat in Southeast Asia back during the Pro League days for as long as anyone's able to remember. And I'm also trying to make up for the fact that I said that they would lose to QConfirm in the Season 11 predictions video, and look where QConfirm is now. It's a safe bet, but I'm also trying to make sure I can make up for that blunder I had for Season 11, so I do think the Giants Gaming comes away with a win at the 6 Major for APAC North. In the end, I think Wildcard, Mercenaries, and Giants all get their respective major titles. Even if some of the results throughout the bracket aren't correct, all 3 of these teams look stronger than any other one in their tournament, if only from a statistics perspective. If you have any disagreements, And I already know some of you do because I can hear you typing from here. Please let me know in the comments how you think some of these matches would have played out, and we will see for ourselves when the APAC Major kicks off on Tuesday morning on twitch.tv/rainbow6. Check the link in the description for the dates and times, and I'm sure I'll see you in Twitch chat at some point. That's all for me. Even though APAC is going to start, Latin America begins their bracket on Friday, so expect to see more stuff from me about their tournament before that begins as well. So hit up my Twitter, my Twitch, and this YouTube channel for more in the coming days, please and thank you. And remember, even when I'm wrong, I'm still probably right. Think about that. I'll see you later. Have a good one.